you got a ride, but you can't ride in it? How you got the drive, but you ain't driving it? Tune in, I can get you right in 5 minutes. Hit subscribe for these rides, I put my life in it. I used to keep it going if the outside was clean. Now I'm grown and I put away the childish things. You gon' have to do a lot more than wipe it clean. I could give you all the tools you gon' like and need. So tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog. Tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy D Brooks. Yeah, I'm at it again. I'm having too much fun. Also, just trying to get better. You know what I mean? What keeps y'all up at night? You know, for me, it's, working on goals, thinking about my goals, putting in work. Might be working. Sometimes I get on that late work and sometimes we can chalk that up as procrastination or determination, depending on how important that task is, you know what I mean, and when it was supposed to be done. But yeah, I'm just hoping to get back comfortable on here like I used to be, man. I used to be super comfortable on the stream, and I looked at my stream earlier today, and I'm like, man, I just don't look comfortable. But I used to stream every week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I'd hop on Streamlabs on my phone, hop on one of my homeboys' lives, New York. In your city, he would have a live, and sometimes I'd hop on his live. LS would have a live, hop on his live. Swaps, Ken 10. Yeah, I mean, we was going live all the time. We got comments in this and stuff. So we got Cat Loco in the building. Jeremiah said, I can ride in mine. How you got to ride, but you can't ride in it. Hey, I can ride in a few of mine too now. So we winning. I wouldn't take it too far though. Some of mine I'm not really trying to take too far. But yeah, I can ride in mine. But yeah, man. I see we got some night owls. I'm not the only one that's up tonight. I may put a link up if anybody wants to hop in. I got really inspired, man. Y'all know, if you've been watching the channel, I've been posting the fitness stuff on the TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, but I haven't really been putting in the work on the long form content. I've been recording it, I just haven't been posting it. I'm very limited on time. But man, the live streams they're great. They're great. I was telling everyone earlier today, I got the Caprice on jack stands. I finished the OBS transmission swap. That took me a couple days. That's on the road. That's driving. I got it parked right now, but might sell it. Not sure. I used to buy a lot of cars that was almost what I really wanted, but not really what I wanted. Like, oh, this is close to what I want. Like the OBS is cool. It's a long bed. Not really exactly what I want, but it's close. And I would acquire so many like that and like kind of not really be all the way satisfied. And I should be grateful. I should be very grateful. But I think it's due to my lack of being patient, because a lot of times I can find those cars that I really want. I just come up on those deals and I'm like, man, this is a great deal. It's, $800 or something, or whatever the price is. and I buy it, you know, when I could buy it, you know, the short bed for probably 2K or something like that. Long beds are cool now. Everybody took all the short beds already. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. I got 2 long beds. My dad's Mazda's a long bed, which is, you know, cool because it was my dad's. The OBS is a long bed. I mean, they're very practical. Don't get me wrong; they're very practical, and I don't know. All the cool kids got the short beds. I've tried to figure out like what I would like to do with like a long bed. Maybe if I lifted it, you know, try to make like what would make it more aesthetically pleasing for me. I don't know if my mind's been trained to think the short bed is more aesthetically pleasing, or it just really is more aesthetically pleasing. I think that was smart. I think that was smart. I think that was smart. You know, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I wish I thought the same way. uh, yeah, you know, I find myself about 70% done with the Regal, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy that Firebird. That's a good deal. And yeah, that's I think what you got there is better. You know, finish one thing, move on to the next. Finish one thing, move on to the next. And that's where I'm like, hey, the white OBS is good. It's time to sell it. We can chalk that all the way off the list when it's sold and it's down the road. You know, I wanted to keep it for my daughter, but I feel like I'm just going to continue to want to do more to it. I'm like, it would be cool to just go ahead and put an LS in front of that 4060, or, you know, everything else is pretty much the same. You know, I can just, you know, throw it in there. I'm pretty sure even the engine mounts might even be the same if I'm not mistaken. It's a 4.3 in there. You know what I mean? It's just like 2 cylinders shorter than the V8. I'm pretty sure the engine mounts are the same. It's a 2-wheel drive truck. Like literally probably the easiest swap if I had decided to do it. I just had everything out, exhaust out. I had the transmission out, cross member out. Only thing I did not have out was the engine. But again, that's not really a good use of my time if that's not the build I want to really build. So then you know, like, what are we doing this for? But anyhow, got to build the cars you really want to keep. Or if you think you can make some money on them or a good turn. I don't know if the market's super hot on the long bed work truck like that. I'd have to put some serious coin into it to get it out there the way I need to make more money on it. It would be good for the daughter though. I think it's a little bit safer. It's not super fast. Just don't know if I feel like hanging on to it for that long and not doing anything with it. I mean, it's pretty much where it needs to be besides like some you know, body work and stuff like that. Long beds look good, just a bit low. The long mini truck lowered always look good. Okay. We got one of those. I got some sentimental value in the long bed mini truck. Probably go ahead and do some mechanical upgrades on that eventually. As long as it's still running everything, I'm going to put it on the back burner. You know, I drove it to like a little car. No, I drove it to fireworks this year. I didn't drive it to a car show. I wanted to take it to the car show on the 26th of July, but we ended up getting rained out. We had storms and stuff, so I didn't go. I got my car tagged and insured, and I've driven it probably 100 miles now, figuring out I didn't quite tighten a few bolts all the way. Ooh. Suspension or torque converter, flywheel, flex plate. How serious are we talking? You know, if it's a couple rockers, we can probably recover from that. But if it's a flex plate, that's some work, you know. Leaf spring, U-bolts. Okay, pretty serious. That's pretty serious. Yeah, that's a safety hazard for sure. It's definitely a safety hazard. Are you still building transmissions for other people, or are you slowing down on that and focusing on your Camaro, or where are we at with that? It's always the first drive when I get a car done where I'm like, no music, real quiet, windows up, windows down. Um, it can get pretty hectic. But by the grace of God, I haven't had anything crazy happen in the last, I'll say, 11 years. Before my daughter was born, I had this BMW 3 Series. And actually, I helped do the work. I wasn't the only one doing it. It needed a wheel bearing pressed in, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I was, broke, and I had hired a guy off of Craigslist to help me press in these wheel bearings. It was like a rear wheel bearing on a 318i. Again, another car that I shouldn't have got. I actually got it on trade. I traded a Civic hatch that had a B16 swap for this BMW. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, hey, this might be better for the kids, whatever. Anyhow, I mean, the wheel bearing was so bad, it felt like the wheel was going to fall off. So I, pretty desperate at the time, decided, well, maybe this guy on Facebook, or not Facebook, but Craigslist can help me. I don't think he knew what he was doing either. The wheel actually fell off on the side of the road. I actually have had probably 3 wheel off events in my life. That was one of them. And they were all around this same time period. I had another one where we just didn't tighten the lug nuts down tight enough. We had a Civic. I think I had bought some used tires, and it was one of those places where you can just go in and they put the tires on real quick in the city in Columbus. And we was getting ready to get on the highway, and I could feel the wheel, like I felt something weird, and next thing you know, the wheel fell off. Nothing crazy happened. Just, I think we might have lost a couple wheel studs on the Civic after that. And then I had another Civic, same body style. They both were 2-door EK type cars. The second one was my fault for sure. I don't know exactly what happened, but I remember something, maybe a control arm or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we was at Advance Auto, and I know pretty much the strut or came loose from the lower control arm. The bolt in there didn't get tightened, and I pretty much shut down the parking lot. But anyways, because of those events back then when I had less to lose, I'm very cautious. I'm very cautious. I spin the neighborhood a couple times real slow. I'm always doing a test drive. I never just take it for granted. Never take it for granted. You said you had a wheel fall off your first 72 Camaro back in the day, broke all the wheel studs. Yeah, I mean, it only takes a couple for you to realize it can happen. I guess it don't take a couple times. It just takes one time, depending on how serious it is, for you to realize, like, hey, let's do a real good thorough, test drive, figure eights, and all that before we get out here. Especially when you get into some serious suspension work. I didn't kick the camera. I see we got some people in here. Make sure y'all smash the like button. Hit the share button if you can. It helps the stream get out there. But yeah, man, I just wanted to hop on here. Like I said, we did the live with LS last night, the Hurricane Hangout. It was a great time. Swaps was there. Ken 10 was there. Mr. Random, Cat Loco. It was kind of like a reunion. It was a good time. And, you know, over the last couple of years, I have been kind of putting together stuff to get, you know, my live stream set up. And I'm like, man, this was just a perfect way to get back into it. And LS has said that he wants to do those at least once a month. I plan on being there to support, you know, long as I don't have something else going on at the same time, you know, whether I'm, you know, I coach football. That's something new that I've started. You guys don't know about, but I coach middle school football. It used to be youth football, but we're up to the grade school now, or middle school. All the kids are into activities and stuff, so I'm always doing stuff with that. And then I work, you know, that's the same stuff. And yeah, I got, you know, a relationship that I'm in. So, you know, I'm a very busy individual, but I still really enjoy doing this stuff too. So trying to find space to be in all of these things is sometimes difficult. I never asked you guys, but how's the sound? I'm assuming it's good. We've been talking for what, about 20 minutes now. The stream's about 17 minutes in. I assume the sound is good. I might put the link in here. I'm a little tired. Don't want to get on here and be on here all night, but I might drop the link for a little bit if anybody wants to come on. I know it's like 3 hours behind in California, Jeremiah. If you want to hop in, I'm going to invite you up. But I probably won't stay on very long. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning here. See if I can send this link to you. Oh, shout out to Pops, man. 90. Yeah, he's doing good. 90 years old is an achievement. I'm going to try to send it to you on Facebook, Jeremiah. If you want to hop in, you're more than welcome. You do not have to. Let me see what that looks like. I know we were in that same group. It's that old school group. Man, I'm in a ton of groups. I'm trying to figure out which group I was in. I'll put the link in the group. Try not to put it in the comment section anymore because we get some weirdos in there and I'm not trying to get my channel banned. I barely got it back last time. Shoot. It's been a while since I've been in the group. I literally join a group for every car I buy. If I buy a Escalade, I'm in the Escalade groups. If I buy a Tahoe, I'm in the Tahoe groups. And they're on here showing like the last time you visited 4 years ago. That's way too many groups to be in. This is actually insane. Okay, cool. I'm not going to post it. He said he's got to go too soon. Don't worry about it. Awesome. I had to quit joining every group. Too many trash ones with no rules. Yeah. And people will have groups and not maintain them. I'm guilty of that. If you leave the group to basically govern itself, it kind of goes to shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if the group I thought I had is no longer existing, because I haven't seen any updates in it and I haven't been on the group either. So, but anyhow, it might be worth looking into that for myself. So I might need to go revisit this. But yeah, man, I'll probably go live again this week at some point. We finally got the stream set up. I don't want to forget how I set it up. So in order for me to get used to doing the stream, I'm gonna have to get on here more often. But again, shout out to you, Jeremiah, getting your car done, getting it on the road. That's always a win. I want to see some updates. Post there. Yeah, post them updates. You say you got good Wi-Fi in your shop? I'll hop on. Oh, okay. Let me see. All right, I went ahead and sent that over to you, Jeremiah. Yeah, they've updated StreamYard quite a bit. They've added a little background music and stuff. Y'all let me know if it's got an echo or anything. But while we get that link situated, we can post up a little bit. me get something to drink. Be right back. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Good. Keeping
Good.
busy, when possible.
So, the Camaro,
Yeah.
it's running and driving, right?
Runs and drives. So I got to a point. I said I had to get to a point where I had to quit buying other new projects and other new shit to do and new shit to spend money on. I had to just stop. No more project cars. No more engines. No more even fix and flip cars. No more nothings until the Camaro was operational, right? And what did it was I went and bought this 6-liter short block for $400. I had to drive kind of far for it, but 6-liter short block, $400. Spun over, clean bores, came with all of the nuts and bolts and shit. The guy had already tore it down. It was an iron head motor. So like he gave me the old iron heads. I'd never seen a set of those. I don't know if you've ever come across a set of iron
I
LS
have.
heads.
I have that 6.0 that's in my box Chevy. It came with the
Yeah.
iron heads. I sold them.
Yeah.
Circle track guys like them for whatever reason.
Oh, because there's probably a category where they have to run an iron cylinder head, huh?
I guess so. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, this is a specific class." Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if there's any categories like that around here. Maybe I can actually sell those. Anyway, I had went and bought this motor, and then like over the next week, I had some cash stacked up, and I started like going on Summit Racing to buy all the shit to like clean the motor up and put the motor together and put a cam in it and like gaskets and head bolts, and like I was just gonna get all the stuff, right? And so that was another however many hundreds of dollars, right? And I'm sitting there looking at this greasy fucking 6-liter on my engine stand in my shop. And I look over at my car and I'm like, I should have just spent that $400 on my car. I could have just tagged my car. I could have just called my insurance company and put some insurance on my car, and I could have went down to the DMV and gave them the money, and my car that has been not tagged since 2006, I could be insured and tagged. And then I can drive it to the gas station or whatever, right?
Sounds too
So that's
logical.
what I did. I didn't buy any crap for that 6-liter. I went down to the DMV and I tagged my car. And then I spent the next like 2 days trying to bleed the brakes more and just do some more last little stuff. And then I drove it to the gas station and back. And then I still need to bleed the brakes. I have like that much brake pedal at the very, very bottom. It's like I can stop at the stop sign that I see coming up there. But if there's an emergency, I shouldn't have those brakes on the road. So I've just drove it literally 1 mile down the street to the gas station, and then I drove it a few more miles here in town, and then I drove it just across the bridge to the next town over and back once, and it did pretty good. So then I drove it 35 miles one way and then 35 miles back to my dad's house, and that was cool. That was a nice long drive. It did really good. Except on my way, when I went to leave his house, I turned the key and I got electric in-tank fuel pump. And I built this car over years. Like, I bought a part with my tax return 1 year, and then I bought another part another time. And so everything is old. Everything has been sitting. It's all new, but it's like, some of it's 2015, some of it's 2016, some of it's 2020, some of it's 2006. Like, so this fucking fuel pump, I turned the key at my dad's house to leave, and this fuel pump goes whoop. It's a Walbro. It's like one of the loud ones. It's in tank, but it's still loud, and it was always loud. So it was like, and then it went wub 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 wub, and I said, oh fuck. Should I drive this car home, or should I drive my sister's car home? My sister would let me borrow her car if I had to or whatever. And I said, well, fuck it. That's hot rodding. It's roadkill, right? Let's hit it. Let's drive it home. If I make it, I make it. We die like men, right? So drove it home, and like when I was getting close to home, accelerating from a couple stop signs, it started to like kind of pop and fart a little bit, like it was road going lean or like low on fuel pressure. I say, oh fuck, god damn it, shit, here we go. But I just barely made it home. So that was a couple weeks ago. I ordered a new fuel pump from Summit. Today I put it in, and it's a Summit brand fuel pump, but it's a AEM pump. It's it just says right on it. Like, it says Summit on it, but like the little plastic stamp or whatever on it says AEM. You can just fucking see it. So I put that in today, and I didn't drive it or anything yet. It's still on the jack stands, but I got it back up and I started it, and that new pump is quiet, like a stock, modern stock car fuel pump. It's not like, it's like, like nice. So already super impressed with that fuel pump. It's like $93. It's Summit Racing fuel pump. For like $10 more, you can get the E85 one, which seems fair. The exact same pump that's AEM on Summit Racing is like $20 more. It's exactly the same thing. So, duh, right?
Right. Did you get the E85?
No, I don't plan on running E85. The engine I have in it right now is Vortec 350, so fuel injected, but iron head small block, regular stuff. Pump gas is fine on it, and even if I do LS swap it, I don't see myself running E85. Honestly, it's available out here in California, but it's uncommon, and honestly, for all the mess it makes with your fuel system and the accommodations that you have to make to operate, it's just not fucking worth it, really. I make enough power or whatever if I need to on regular old gas. It'll be okay.
Yeah. I went E85 on the Regal, and I think I don't
But
even
you're
know if
on turbocharged, no intercooler, right?
I'm intercooled and turboed. Yep.
Okay.
I'm
Okay, you
intercooled
do
and
have an
turboed.
intercooler. Okay.
But the I guess I can't remember, but I don't think my fuel pumps were rated for E85. I'm not sure.
Those
I
little
think
Chemzos.
I think I have the Hellcat fuel pump and a Chemzo. I'm not sure. I
The
can't remember.
Hellcat will do whatever.
Yeah, it's like a 455 or something. It's a big. I mean, the thing looks like a pop can. I mean, it's not. It's bigger than the Chemzos. I can't remember. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years. I have to go look at videos. But I know the way I like set it up, it's kind of ugly. But I've got 2 pumps inside that tank. Because the volume of the E85. Now I was supposed to go flex, but I never put the sensor. So I'm strictly E85, which isn't great.
You guys all go. That's it.
Yeah,
is E85 cheap in Ohio?
It is cheaper in Ohio, and we have it. It's plentiful here. You know, we have. Yeah, it's everywhere. Almost all our gas stations.
Less than 10% of gas stations, I would say, you could get it at. It's uncommon. Like, if you were trying to like take a trip and only get E85, that'd be like driving a fucking electric car. I don't know about that. You should take your own E85 with you to guarantee your supply.
I'm planning to put the flex sensor in, so I don't have to do that. But we ran into some situations. Actually, it was fuel issues on the way there. I think my fuel wire, because I had just went dual pumps, I wanted to make sure I had enough fuel for the tune. The fuel wire got hot.
Oh, we need a bigger fuel wire or more fuel wires.
Yeah, I needed more fuel wires. I think I had 2 relays. I have to go revisit the whole situation. I'll probably end up redoing a lot of that car.
You're an electrician. I don't got to tell you.
Yeah. I have to go revisit that whole situation. Yep. Yeah, because the way I did it, so I ran a smaller wire to the relay, because the relay, after the coil, is when you get all your amperage. So,
right.
I was like, okay, well, I should be good all the way up into the relay. And then I ran a bigger wire from the relay to the pump. But I can't remember how I wired it when I went dual pump. I don't know if I tried to jump out of the other relay.
That Hellcat needs like a 10 gauge wire by itself.
It's a pump. It's a big one.
Yes.
Constantly running.
Right. Holdner sells Hellcat pumps now on his website. And I was thinking about getting one, but then I was like, because I needed a fuel pump. And then I was like, I don't fucking need that. I was just like, I'm not making 700 horsepower. I just want to drive my car. Let's just get the Summit Racing fuel pump.
We got a comment here. Let me see if I can get this mouse over here. Hey, Dropout. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I don't know if there would be any disadvantages besides maybe just working your pump harder. I think your regulator would just send the excess back at this point. But yeah, I mean, it costs you more. What were you going to do with that 6.0 that you bought?
Like, build it and stick a camshaft in it from Richard Holdener and stick it on my engine stand until I get something to put it in. I think that's the way to go for like LS Spot project cars. Build your motor, build your transmission, get a harness, get a fuel pump, get like all the shit except for just the last couple things that are specific to whatever vehicle, right? And then get your $800 Firebird or OBS or whatever.
Yep.
And once you have all the stuff and the motor's just sitting on the stand in a plastic bag ready to go, like, then it's, 2 weekends with the buddies and a case of beer or whatever. In theory, that's what we always say, right? 6 months later.
Yeah, it seems
But like if
that.
you have all of it ready to go, and like we've done enough of them, you and I, that we can pre-solve a lot of the problems that come up just from having an extra spare part of stuff, or ordering things that we know are trustworthy things, not junk, and setting ourselves up to succeed. Being able to prepare for the problems and have solutions on hand and have the tool or whatever it is for the crap that comes up when you're in the middle of doing this stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of the same issues for most people, and it's usually grounding.
So get yourself a big old spool of 10 gauge copper, real good copper or tinned copper. I use Aimcore marine grade tinned copper wire for everything that I can. I buy it off of Amazon, and it's great. Like I don't solder with it a lot because I don't believe in solder for car application. But if you do need to solder with it, it's pre-tinned. You just like touch your soldering iron on it and touch it to the other thing, and it'll like stick together. Boom, done, ready to go. Wow. It's super anti-corrosive. It's Coast Guard approved. It's like Coast Guard rated. So the wire has to be flexible. It has to be made out of 30 gauge strands only. It can't be like thick chunk strands. No matter how thick the wire you buy, if it could be fucking 1 gauge battery cable, it's made out of 30 gauge strands only. So all
like
of that
welding cable almost
better. Well, in the large size, but it's always super flexible, and it's everything resistant and heat resistant and blah 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 blah. That's the shit. I get like all different sizes of it. I need to re-up a whole bunch of it right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, grounding, just ground straps everywhere, especially with the EFI, the computer, and the coils all being separate. They all just need good grounds and lots of grounds and more grounds.
Yeah,
and
the grounds
thicker ground
are critical. Even like that little 4.3 truck, I had some grounding issues when I did that transmission. The way their little braided cable strap, it's supposed to be grounded to the right by the starter from the factory. Well, it broke, of course, right? So I knew it was important, but I forgot about it, and I went to go start it, and then the truck freaked out and didn't want to start because it wasn't grounded. But yeah, that was the only issue I really ran into after putting the transmission in. That little 4.3, I mean, it's not much to it. It's just a regular, Vortec engine. I think it might even have spider injection, but people
if it's the old 4.3, then yeah, it has spider.
It's a 98.
Yep,
yeah.
That would be the spider.
So, I mean, it seems to run smooth. I know a lot of people upgrade from the spider to more of like I guess MPFI multi-port. I think
right. Like that's the setup I have on my Camaro. It's a Vortec 350, but I don't have the spider. I have a traditional fuel injector.
Okay. And it looks like a spider, but it's a fuel injection?
No, it looks kind of halfway between the spider intake and a LS intake. It's got fuel rail and normal. It takes the long style, like grandpa type fuel injectors, like the old LS1 type.
Okay.
And yeah, the intake manifold is cast iron lower, aluminum upper, and it's got the ports in it for fuel injectors.
I'm not super familiar. I get kind of lost in GM's progression all the way up into the LS world. Like
Mhm.
my first like Firebird Trans Am, it had crossfire injection.
Oh,
It
82, 3.
82, 82
Woof.
had crossfire injection, and then I had a couple box Chevys that had like I think just throttle body injection, and
Right.
then they had the smart carburetors for a little bit. You know, they had some different progressions, and
Hmm.
I'm really happy with a basic carburetor, and I'd probably be fine with a regular throttle body injection, and then what we have with the LS, like the multi-port.
The stuff that's in between everything is really hard to work on. All
Yeah,
of the like OptiSpark LT1 type fuel injection systems and the tune port stuff, like there's guys back in the day back in the time, they were the expert at that. They could mess with all that stuff in the time when those were current or whatever. But those are like the guys who could mess with all that stuff, and whatever tool or computer or whatever chip they had to solder in or whatever that was going on, that's gone. We can't do that anymore. So trying to mess with any of that stuff is pointless.
yeah,
But most of that stuff you can make run on an LS computer.
yeah. I mean, what do they have that Holly?
Or any of the aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, the aftermarket stuff. If I was to do it today, I'd either go get me a Holly carburetor or one of those Holly throttle body injection setups. Like I went and
Yeah.
got that Monte Carlo, and I can't remember. It was having some issues. It didn't even have the right adapter plate on it when I bought it, but we drove it home. The guy
Right.
had a carburetor on there. I think he had an Elderbrock on there, and it didn't have the right adapter plate. I didn't know it until I got home, and I was like, all right, whatever. I threw one of them Holly carburetors right off the shelf on there, and it ran fine. Fine enough for driving to work and school or whatever else. Taking it to the Sunday car show or whatever most people do. Obviously, a race car, you might want to do a little bit different. You might take a different approach,
Right.
but
Right.
you can go get an off the shelf Holly carburetor most of the time for most of those stock 305, 350 cars, and you'll be fine. In my opinion.
Yep. Honestly, I've, grown in my opinion of what you should do to a project car when you get it or whatever. And it sounds like you kind of have too. Don't just, you don't got to LS swap every fucking car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay if you just like air up the tire and put a carburetor on it and go get ice cream. That's all right. That's great. Just like vacuum it out and wash it or whatever. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to go straight to like hot tanking the engine and everything.
Right. And then, maybe if you want to drive it on road trips or whatever, you're like, oh, okay, I want that 4L60 so I can get the good gas mileage out on the highway. I got to LS swap it now. Okay, now it's worth it, right? But yeah, there's no point in going super deep on just every single car. Like, just fix it up and drive it. If you have some hunk of junk that just will drive to get ice cream, it's cooler than 90% of other dudes' junk. Like, what are they gonna say? What can they say? I drove mine. What? Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're calling me out for a race, which I'm not 9 times.
Right.
Even with the LS swap, I'm not equipped for the race either. So
Right.
like I might as well pull up with my 2.2 liter Mazda.
Just washed. I washed it today, Like, yeah.
We watched it with the kids. We went and got fireworks sat in the back of the truck. Got so many compliments, I could still be swapping that thing today if I had started swapping it when I thought about it.
Uh-huh.
I do want to swap it. I'm not gonna deny that. I do want to. It's not nearly powerful enough for what I want out of the truck. I wouldn't trust it on the highway. Drive it to the
Yeah.
fireworks in town, but
Once you start stuffing all of that stuff under there, then you can't slam it down on the ground anymore. That's what mini trucks are for.
yeah. There's a guy I've been watching on the channel. He made a cross member and all these little, like he's pretty much put a kit together for the B2200s.
Oh,
Really cool guy. He has a AR5 set. I'm into the kits too. Like if there's a kit that works, I don't need to piece it together.
mm-hmm.
I'm not, there's nothing wrong with a lot of the G body stuff and the B bodies and the A bodies. You can just get adapter plates and
It's all real easy. The plates
Yeah,
and stuff are made in China now. They've been knocked off. Like,
yeah, you can throw those together real quick. You go get a Nissan hard body or a Mazda or maybe I don't know. They probably got kits for those too. I don't know. Maybe a Jaguar would be difficult.
they got mounts for those too.
Yeah. What's the toughest one you've done?
Oh, have I had any really hard ones yet? I've only done like Chevy stuff. When it's in a Chevy, it goes in. Other than like fighting with what specific parts I have chosen to use or whatever, everything usually just is supposed to work. Like nothing has really been vehicle difficult. Probably that 50 convertible, the 50 Chevy, because that was like from scratch and fitting everything in was like I literally file fit. Like I filed with a file the fucking exhaust manifold to get them like just a little more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably was tough. I don't think I'd really want to mess with anything older than the 60s.
So that car, what made it hard was it had an X frame, like a 64 Impala. So literally in the middle of the car, right where the back of the transmission is, the frame is an X. And so the drive shaft goes through the middle of the frame of the car, out of the back of the transmission, and then back to the rear end or whatever. For his car, he was on air, so we had to get a 2-piece drive shaft, like a 4x4, with a slip shaft in the back so that it could go up and down and in and out independently. So that car, so it had an X frame, and the frame rails were narrower than muscle cars and stuff that we're playing with generally. So not only that, engine compartment space front to back was very limited. We set it back as far as we possibly could, and he had to cut a couple little certain pieces off of the body of the car that were not structural. They were just like a little extra little tag thing or whatever, so that we could set the engine as far, almost just touching the firewall without having to cut the firewall or any of that stuff. And so space side to side was limited, space forward and backward is limited, space up and down. He was on air, so we could only go so low with stuff. The engine had to sit at a certain height. So it was very, very close getting it high enough and under the floor of the car and back at the back of the transmission, right in the X frame, so the drive shaft could go through the middle of the X frame. I had to use center dump exhaust manifolds. So like 6789 Camaro has a weird steering box setup, and for those cars they use a center dump exhaust manifold. So I used that for this guy's car, and it was like I had to file it. It was like that perfect, just very close.
Where'd you find center dump manifolds? Someone makes them?
CPP, Classic Performance.
Wow.
And they were inexpensive relatively. I think they were $289 or something like that, like equivalent of buying some other sort of specialty exhaust manifold, really, a hooker or
Yeah.
something like that.
Wow.
But that car, it was just challenging fitting everything in. And then he bought Dakota Digital, and I rewired the whole car with brand new from scratch custom wiring harness from American Auto Wire, because there isn't one for the car because it's so old or whatever. And then also the computer for the EFI and all that stuff. I mounted all that stuff up under the dash. It was very hard to find places to put all the boxes to all the fucking Dakota Digital and stuffs. Not a lot of room behind the dash either, but we got it all up under there and everything was hidden pretty good.
Is he happy?
I haven't talked to him in a while. I assume so.
Good.
He's painting body man, so once he got it back, he was going to drive it for like a month and then blast it back apart to fucking paint and body it.
Mm.
So it's probably apart in his shop currently, if I had to guess.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, I like what you said when you first got on here. You figured you'd get right on one project and start working on that. I'm in a phase of needing to consolidate stuff down. I just want to get rid of a few. Some of them, are here for the long haul. My dad's truck's here for the long haul.
Right.
Regal, I feel like it should be, but the box Chevy's pretty much the same car. It's like the same car. I'm committed to both because I like the Regal because it was the first one I started with. And then
that car, when you're done with it, it's going to be rowdy, actually.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it's fun now. The box, it's a 4-door. I got 3 kids. So I'm like, I should have started with the box to begin with. But
and with a heavier car, you can put down more power. Like you can be a little wilder with it, and it'll hold it.
Yeah, so I got some decisions to make. That's really it. I mean, I'm cool with getting rid of the white Caprice. Cool with getting rid of some of those trucks that I've got. I've got a couple.
So I didn't see anything down. I sold that 6-liter because I felt like that 6-liter was like my moment. So I was like, oh, okay, you gotta go. You're a distraction. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
But I didn't get rid of anything else. But I'm not spending money on anything except for the Camaro or stuff to make the Camaro go. So last year I went to the Duct Tape Drags in Arizona, which is the guy from Roadkill puts it on, and Vice Grip Garage.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I went with my buddy, and the car almost broke down. We had to come home, and then we drove the regular car there. We didn't drive the hot rods, but we had a good time. So this year I'm going to drive my car, and it's 950 miles each way.
Wow.
And it's at the bottom of Arizona. So I live in the middle of California, and that's at the bottom of Arizona.
Are you packing an extra fuel pump and an extra water pump?
So I put the Summit fuel pump in. I didn't buy another Summit fuel pump, but I bought a Chemso that I'm going to put in my toolbox.
An emergency fuel pump. The good
for
shit.
Emergency fuel pump. And I already invited my buddy, so I got a co-pilot. I already booked the hotel room, so I have to finish shaking down the car and tightening all the bolts and shit, and then put the interior back in it at least halfway and go. And I'm not going to race. I didn't enter the race for this year, but they have a car show. Really all the car show is like you get a spectator entry ticket, and you can park your car inside the race pit also, instead of parking your car in the parking lot. So that's really all that is. So I got that. So, but that'll be fun. My car looks roadkill, so the vibe will be immaculate.
It blends.
Right.
In. What year is yours again?
73.
73.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, there's not like, it's not that they don't exist, but literally all of them have already been like cleaned up and made into fucking expensive cars, and they're all in old men garages, like collections, and like they get drove once a week or never. They're not out on the road. Like you don't see them. Not even out here where old cars exist, for sure. Probably not where you live at all, except at like the Good Guys Car Show and the Cars and Coffee and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice car.
Yeah.
I like how, well, sometimes I like how every year there were changes back in like the 60s and 70s. Like,
right.
I've been looking at like 65 Impalas a lot. And 66 looks different than 64, and 65 looks different than 66. Dramatically, like the tail lights are different.
And once you like one of them, you know the 5 things that you actually like about it. You're like, oh, I do like that about that car. That is what makes that good. I do like the 67 Impala, even the 4 doors with the no window post, like just the open air breezeway. That specific year, like the hips that car has when it has the windows down, and like the you come back from the front door and then it comes up at the back and just is like, ooh, yeah. So yeah, I get it.
Yep. That's how I feel about the 65. Is 66 they went with the long tail lights. They switched to the long tail lights. 65 they still have the bullets, like, you know, the 6 tail lights or whatever. And I just like that more because it reminds me of the 64, but I don't want a 64 because every 64 is like the lowrider.
It's a gangster car, right?
But I want the 65 to be a lowrider.
Those look good,
but not the same as every other lowrider. Because the 64 is everybody's lowrider. Like,
there's a guy in the neighborhood here that was one of the first LS swaps I helped someone do a few years ago, and it's like a hella nice car with like it won a car show or some shit, like super nice. So I had helped him.
Too?
That one is an X-frame, so I had just helped him do like wiring and plumbing. He had hired this old white guy to like put the motor in and do the transmission and stuff. And so the old guy talked him into putting a 700 R4 behind a 5.3. Right. But sure. But okay. All right. Here we are. What's done is done. Right. The old guy insisted that you couldn't buy any kind of motor mount or transmission cross member kit to do this swap in this car. For a 64 Impala, he was sure that just wasn't, that's too oddball of a car. There's no motor mount kit for that for a LS swap. Are you kidding, boy? So of course those motor mounts just got put in there and welded to the frame. And the cross member is like welded in for the transmission and shit. And a bunch of other questionable choices. So it was like a junkyard 5.3 that they washed off. Didn't even put head gaskets on or none of the stuff that we do to them, right? He just like washed it off and then put the $1,000 fast intake on top of it, put the $1,000 worth of MSD coils on it, put the $500 fucking Holly Sniper throttle body on it, put the such and such Holly Sniper injectors on it, bought the such and such fast fuel rails because the $1,000 fucking intake doesn't come with fuel rails. Had like $3,000 sitting on the top of this engine. He put the have you ever seen back in the day, the old guys would put the March Serpentine set up on their small block Chevy, right? So like all the pulleys and everything were sick on the old small block Chevys. Well, so they make that for a LS, right? But it's like extra pulleys that bolt forward of your existing LS serpentine belt pulleys. It's like an extra set of belts with like a chrome cap that covers the old black serpentine pulley, and now there's chrome stuff another 3 inches out in front of that. So he had this, and it's like $1,500 for this pointless serpentine belt setup. So this guy he had went to the local, like,
He drunk all
there's
the
a
Kool-Aid,
local
it
shop.
sounds like.
Yeah, there's this local place that's called Tognotti's. They're like Summit Racing, but they never left the 70s. It's like a big store, but it's a speed shop that's an old speed shop. And so this guy went in there and was like, I'm just building my LS. And he got on the hook for everything except for a good motor or stuff.
Except for the bare bones, the basics.
Right.
Man. And, he could have cheaped out on the intake and everything and kept all the factory stuff. And maybe even went with like a regular LS1 intake, LS6 intake if you wanted it low profile or whatever. But the truck intake will do. I know it's not the prettiest thing. It may not clear.
Nope.
The Impala's engine base probably pretty big, I imagine. Probably got plenty of room.
Yeah, there was no problem as far as all that. It was just that was not a high quality selection of parts to work together for the budget.
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty permanent.
Right.
Yeah, it'll see the yard that way.
Yep. Hey man, I gotta get off. My phone's at like 2%. I'm gonna let you get to bed. Let's get back together next week.
All righty, brother. You take care of yourself.
All right. Good to see you.
You too. All right, guys. So, yeah, that was Jeremiah. We had a good conversation. Let me fix this real quick. Still getting used to the stream setup here. Man, I'm definitely working through some of the growing pains here. Show on stage. There we go. And anyhow, we're working through this. But yeah, that was great. Good conversation, man. I appreciate everybody that stopped in and watched. We'll get a couple more in this month. We want to do a couple more. We'll do another Hurricane Hangouts with LS. Maybe pop in on one of Swap's lives, and we'll just keep it going. Y'all stay tuned. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
How you gotta ride, but you can't ride in it? How you got to drive, but you ain't driving it? Tune in, I can get you right in 5 minutes. Hit subscribe for these rides, I put my life in it. I used to keep it going if the outside was clean. Now I'm grown and I put away the childish things. You gon' have to do a lot more than wipe it clean. I could give you all the tools you gon' like to need. So tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog. Tune in, tune up, lock in. It's D Brooks, dog. I'ma give you real life game by the book, dog.